Well, hey, everyone. It is Monday afternoon. It's the afternoon show on the preparedmind.club, subscribestar.com, and X. And the preparedmind.club, C-L-U-B, is where you go to get your preps when you need food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and a plan. You need all those things. You need to take care of it. Best to have it taken care of before things get really nasty. And the elitists in government are proving to us one more time, yet again, exactly who they are and why they cannot be trusted. Absolutely can't be trusted. Get this. This is incredible. The Assistant Attorney General from Rhode Island, so a state attorney general, is drunk in public and decides she's going to start screaming at a cop, I'm an AG, I'm an AG. So the cop responds adequately, good for you, I don't give a shit, right? Democrats feel entitled, they feel like they're special, they're elitists, and this is a good police officer just to say, I don't give a shit. As far as I was concerned, she was a resisting arrest. I don't know if she's going to be charged with that. She should. She's an idiot. That's a Democrat for you. That's government for you. They are all scumbags, folks. All of them. Every last one of them. Now, it is Monday, and I'm going to invite you, if you're here live, to get your questions down below to Mr. Uman. We've got a lot to talk about. There's a lot on the board. I didn't really talk about a lot of the stuff I wanted to last night in the zoo, but that was one heck of a show. And speaking of the zoo, I can't remember who it was that was making fun of my haircut, so I got myself back in regs here. Look at that. Trimmed up, 0 to 3 graduated. Yep. Flat top in place. You got it. Now, I woke up this morning, and I started looking at social media, and I noticed something. I noticed on X there was no more Jeffrey Epstein posts. I looked harder, and there were no more government anti-government government posts from people demanding the government uphold the law. And then I noticed there's no more criticism of Israel. No criticism of Israel in any of my posts. 3/4 of them were just random people that I didn't know, topics I don't care about, and even people with foreign languages. I got 3 porn sites that popped up. It's like, really? This is what I get? Right? I had to block them and then report them, get them. I mean, it's just fucking ridiculous. Yeah, it sounds to me like Israel's got their finger in it again. And I'm not going to give up on them. The more they try and censor me, the more I'm going to fight them. And that's right why I say, hey, look, please, thumbs up, heart, share, get the word out. People need to wake up to what's going on. So speaking of Israel, I did not talk about this yesterday. We ran out of time, but Israel's top cybersecurity, the country of Israel, their top cybersecurity chief was arrested in Las Vegas for attempting to lure minors for sex, aka pedophilia. Arrested for it. The U.S. State Department responded today that it is, quote, aware that Tom Artyom Alexandrovich, an Israeli citizen, says the State Department. I'm going to just call the timeout right there. He's not an Israeli citizen. He is an Israeli government cybersecurity chief. He's not a citizen. He is the government of Israel, and he was in Las Vegas trying to lure children for sex and got caught in a sting. He was arrested in Las Vegas. He was given a court date for charges relating to trying to have sex with a minor. He was released by a state judge. And the State Department for the U.S. says any claims that the U.S. government intervened are false. Yeah, he was arrested, he was released by the judge, and he fled the country. He got on a plane and he flew back to Israel. He will not face a penalty. And Israel says it's not a political issue. There's not a political problem here. It's not a political fiasco. No, dickheads, it's not political. It's a criminal issue. The head of Israel, the chief of Israel's cybersecurity, was arrested in Vegas for attempting to lure minor children for sex. Israel's top cybersecurity chief was arrested for attempting to have sex with children. I don't think we can say that enough. I'm tired of these people getting away from it. Oh, by the way, speaking of Israel, see, they really are in the news. That's a legitimate news story. That's a legitimate concern. When the top cybersecurity guy for Israel is over in America trying to have sex with kids, he gets arrested, he gets released, and he jumps on a plane and heads home, and everyone acts like it's just fine, it's not a big deal. The United States government should demand that he return and be extradited and be held accountable for what he fucking did. Why are we giving them billions of dollars? Just the whole thing stinks, folks. It's hit the fan. These people are scum. And speaking of scum, this is going to happen, whether we like it or not. The fallout, the consequences is what I think is going to affect us. Israel, that's right, the same Israel that loves child molesters, they plan to move hundreds of thousands of Palestinians out of Gaza. I read that headline, said move them or murder them. You know, it's not that I have a ton of love for those people, but I don't have a ton of love for anyone in the Middle East. In fact, I'm sick of this bullshit problem caused by Middle Eastern stupidity, in which and through which Israel is a major problem. Where does Israel plan on putting these people after they move them? Not to our country, I hope. Not to our country. In fact, over the weekend, the United States government got caught because Laura Loomer exposed all the Gaza citizens getting off of planes into the United States. And if that hadn't been done on X, on social media, they would keep doing it and start putting these fucking Palestinians in our country. They don't belong here in our general population. We have peace-loving Americans who follow the law. They don't try and skirt the law. They don't try and screw people over. They don't try and rob, rape, and murder people if they can get away with it. They're not extremist, fundamentalist, wacko retards like all of these people from the Middle East. They don't get it, folks. But that's what Israel plans to do. Just wow. You know, did I just say America has law-abiding citizens? I should have had a caveat for that, except for anybody who doesn't love the Constitution. Otherwise, they're morons too. In fact, a far-left anarchist group was created back during the BLM Summer of Love. And they are the group that's behind immigrations and customs enforcement, ambush, and shooting in Texas. Now, surprise, surprise, surprise. This splinter anarchist group, which probably has its start in Antifa, it's my guess, has transgender members. Surprise! All of them violent. Surprise! But Biden said, remember when Biden said these left-wing terrorists, they're just an idea. Well, they're an idea that murders. Are you prepared? Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Do you have your plan? I sure hope you do, because everybody is after you, folks, from Israel to the Democrats to Zelenskyy to the Antifa types, the BLM types, the left-wing wackos. They're all nuts. Even our own government. Oh, yeah. I mean, we have regular worthless government, and then we have extreme worthless government in the United States. Everyone knows Eric Swallowswell, total sleazebag, says Republicans should be, quote, buried below the Capitol. I thought threats and incitement to violence were a violation of law, a crime. And even if it isn't criminal, where is Maggot Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, on censoring and expelling this jackass? Or, and he hasn't been removed from his committee assignments, even though he's fucking a Chinese spy. Maggot Mike and the rest of the Republicans are 100% chicken shit cowards, with the exception of Thomas Massie and Marge Taylor Greene. Zero doubts, folks. They're taking money from AIPAC, which is taking money from Israel. They pretend during election times that they're going to save the world and save the Constitution and protect your rights, and they don't do shit. And I would like to challenge Eric Swallowswell to a fist fight with boxing gloves in a ring and a referee, and it'll be sanctioned. I'm tired of these fucking people, folks. He says we should be buried below the Capitol. I predict a third-round knockout. Good God, I tell you. I've had it with all these fucking people. Let's continue, if we shall. It's not just the American government, folks. It's all the governments around the world that are associated with the World Economic Forum. All of them. The government of England has decided they're going to investigate 4chan, which is an American social media site. They're claiming that their Online Safety Act, which is a Orwellian, draconian set of bullshit laws, they're gonna investigate and penalize financially. And because England decided they're going to talk shit about an American company, a 4chan spokesman decided he was going to humiliate Keir Starmer and the rest of the Brits in their government. He says, and this is what the guy says, this quote, UK law applies on UK soil to UK people. Only Parliament can repeal it. My objective is to remind the UK that the Battle of Yorktown had political consequences, as they seem to have forgotten. Reminding them they don't own America. They can't tell us what to do. They can't tell American businesses what to do, period. And folks, not just me, not just 4chan, we all need to speak up, especially towards the governments of the United States, England, and Israel. We all need to speak up against our own government and the governments of others. You don't fucking own us. It's time to stand up, folks. We all need to do it. Within our own government, there is nothing but trouble. It is turning against us from Swallowswell to Eyelashes Crockett. In fact, Democrat congressional hoe Jasmine Eyelashes Crockett says President Trump needs to quit being Putin's hoe. Literally, a congressperson who looks like a hoe, dresses like a hoe, acts like a hoe, talks like a hoe, is going to call President Trump Putin's hoe. Where is the Speaker of the House? Where is Maggot Mike Johnson? Why hasn't he censured her? Called for her expulsion for her attacks on Trump when she is clearly the hoe maybe even a hoe and a half. A congressperson ought not to speak of the president that way. She's not talking about a crime he's committed or been alleged to commit. She's calling him Putin's hoe. You know, if using the N word is fighting words, I think calling anyone anything is now going to have to be fighting words. I'm not calling for fighting. I'm not calling for violence. I'm just saying, you know, it's a bunch of hypocritical shit. And I think people are losing their patience with it. Everyone does. I don't know if it doesn't matter if everyone knows or not. Jenny McCarthy was a Playboy model and an actress from 20, 25, 30 years ago. She had a child, and he was injured permanently in his life due to the VAXXXX, right? So she came out and started speaking out about injuries that children suffer from getting injected with the JJJ and mRNA and everything else, all the heavy metals and crap and mercury. So what happened? Well, she says the government has launched a smear campaign against her for speaking out on her son's injury. Once again, what do we get from the U.S. government, the UK government, and the Israeli government? What do we get? Censorship. Governments, big pharmacy, big pharmaceuticals, big tech, right? They hate us. Do not be fooled by them, any of them. Even Trump. Don't be fooled by any of these people. They don't really care about us. They only do what they have to try and keep us quiet, try and keep us happy, placated, keep us from getting mad, keep us from getting our torches and pitchforks and going and straightening shit out directly. It's Monday, folks. It's just started. Get your comments and questions below. We had a great zoo last night. I hope you attended that. But if not, we got today, tomorrow, and the next day, and on, because there's no shortage of what's going on. No shortage of the censorship, right? Not a single post allowing anyone to criticize Israel or the Anti-Defamation League. That's right, the ADL last week, where the CEO claimed to be an Israeli. Whoops. You know, these people, folks, not a single post on my phone anywhere on X mentioning Epstein, nor any post about criminals like James Comey or Hillary Clinton. Folks, the only way we can figure out what's wrong is if we raise topics and ask questions and answer questions. But they won't even let us ask the questions, much less discuss what is going on. They're trying to discourage us, but I will not be silent, folks. Trying to censor me only pisses me off more and makes me want to be louder. And speaking of loud, I think someone went up to Voldemort Zelensky's ear and screamed in it, "Wear a suit." He was expected to dress wearing a suit, pants, jacket, shirt, and tie when he met the president at the White House. You know what he wore? You know what the little bastard wore? He wore his little black communist pants and shirt. It looked like a little communist onesie. He's disrespecting the office of the president. He's disrespecting the people of the United States of America. Oh, America first, America first, America first. Now, understand, Zelenskyy has at least one suit because he wears it when he goes to the European Union. But he's coming to America, who's given more money to his country to fight a war that he and the CIA started, and NATO and the European Union started. but he disrespected the President of the United States and us intentionally. Intentionally. You think he just fucking forgot? He's packing his luggage and he says to all his butt pirate buddies, hey, should I bring a suit? Right? What am I forgetting? He didn't forget. He's doing it on purpose. He's a piece of shit. You know what Trump should have done? And I'll tell you what. I'm disappointed in Trump over this. He should have took one look at him and dismissed him. He should have took one look at him and dismissed him. Do you know that Ronald Reagan, President Reagan, was in office as president for 8 years? 8 years. Never once did Reagan go into the Oval Office. Not once did he show up without his coat or take his coat off. Out of respect for the office, he was always properly and fully attired to conduct business for the United States of America. This little sack of shit is into our country for almost $500 billion. People right now can't afford food, pay their rent, pay their car, pay for insurance, health insurance, nothing. This piece of shit is over here shaking down our country, and he won't wear a fucking suit. Even if we paid for it, which I'm sure we did, there's needs to come to an end, folks. Needs to come to an end. Crazy. Now, Trump confirmed today that he is going to speak to Vladimir Putin of Russia as soon as the meeting with Zelenskyy and the European leaders is over. And his quote was, this is Trump's quote, "We may or may not have a trilateral. He's expecting my call when we're finished." Now, when he says we may or may not have a trilateral, see, an agreement's an agreement. A bilateral agreement is 2 sides. A trilateral is 3 sides. So if Zelenskyy agrees to what Trump says, it becomes not a bilateral, but tri, meaning Trump and Putin already have it together. And all they need is Zelenskyy to understand you've lost, and you're going to keep losing. Zelenskyy looked like Harry Potter stuffed in a shoebox. He had a defeated beggar's expression on his face, and I'm sick and tired of his antics, his demands. The American people get zero out of this war. We get nothing. We get nada from the thieving little bastard. And he shows up in a black communist onesie. And he's not going to agree. I doubt he'll agree. Trump needs to say, we're not giving you any more money. We're not giving you another nickel to fight the war. You surrender, and you're going to give up everything that Putin asked for. And we'll come in and help you rebuild your country, but you're going to give America back wealth in natural resources, right? It's incredible. These fucking people are like welfare cases. They come at you and beg for help. You give them money. They get mad because they want more, and it's never enough. And then they shit all over you for it. That's socialist pieces of shit. Now, I said not just Zelenskyy came to D.C., but also the European leaders, right? So Keir Starmer, Emmanuel Macron, I believe the Meloni from Italy, the other cokehead from Germany, and then the bitch that runs the World Economic Forum. I'm sorry, not the World Economic Forum, the European Union. The World Economic Forum is now run by Larry Fink of Blackstone, BlackRock, and he has no love for his country. He's got a lot of love for Israel, though. Anyways, President Trump is going to hold a meeting with all of the loser European leaders following his meeting with Zelenskyy. They weren't allowed to sit in there while he was dealing with him. I think he should have. I think he should have brought them all in there and absolutely put them all down and put them in their place. They're fucking embarrassing. It's embarrassing, folks. What they all want war. I mean, war in Ukraine. You want some facts on the Ukraine war? I'll give you some facts. Why is the war? Why war? Right? Well, Zelensky's not going to give up on the war, folks. Here's his quote. Get this. This is Zelensky's quote about Ukraine. Our Constitution doesn't allow us to admit we lost a war. Therefore, we will continue to die. Yeah. I don't think there's anything in their Constitution that says they have to win a war. He's just saying there's nothing that says they're allowed to lose. How fucking stupid can you be? And Zelensky used his Azov battalion to ethnically cleanse and genocide Russians in eastern Ukraine for a decade. That's why we have a war. Russia got tired of this and the threat of NATO trying to open a base in Ukraine. Russia responded. That's why we have a war. Zelensky ran to the United States and the European Union governments for money and weapons. That's why we have a war. Zelensky could never win, and he won't quit. It's proven he's losing, but he won't quit. That is why we still have a war. Zelensky is again today coming to the United States and begging the European Union for money to extend his war. And the fact is, if Zelensky gets funding and weapons, he will continue to send his people to the front line to meet Russia and die. So Zelensky can perpetuate his personal gains, and that's why we have a war. Folks, Zelensky and Ukraine can't win back eastern Ukraine ever. Russia has already won. So you look at what's going on as Zelensky murders Russians. These are the ones that were in Ukraine. He murders his own people. It boils down to that. They want and need war. Crazy business. Does everyone remember that guy that killed several politicians up in Minnesota? Right, the Minnesota assassin who wore a rubber mask and said he was a cop. Right, his name is Vance Bolter, and he has come out and said Tim Walz is, quote, traitor to the American people, end quote. I think I agree with him. I don't know why this Vance Bolter fell out of the news. I don't know why Timmy Walz isn't being arrested. I don't know why he's not being investigated for hiring Vance Bolter to assassinate Senator Klobuchar. Right? So anyways, this Vance Bolter also claims that Governor Tampon Timmy Walz pushed Chinese influence and Chinese government control. This guy loved Tim Walz, and now he's ratting on him. Folks, Democrats, the last four letters in Democrats is rats, and they will rat on one another. Believe this guy. He's telling the truth and more. And any Democrat that gets arrested is going to rat on all of the others. This could be a field day for Trump. It could be a field day for the Attorney General, Pam Bondi. But do you know what Pam Bondi's busy doing? Stuffing hot dogs in her pie hole, her cock holster, the hole under her nose. She and Judge Jeanine Pirro showed up at a hot dog vending contest or something that's supposed to raise awareness and funds and love for law enforcement in Washington, D.C. Hot dogs. Hot dogs. Hot dogs. You know why this is a problem? Because hot dogs and pizza is code for pedophiles wanting little boys and girls. And here they are, not doing a fucking thing about the elite Jeffrey Epstein client list, the people on it. Epstein was arrested for trafficking children to nobody, apparently. And Ghislaine Maxwell was arrested for sex trafficking children, just like Jeffrey. And she got thrown in jail for apparently nobody. And these two women show up and start eating hot dogs. Are they that fucking tone deaf, or are they just playing us for idiots? I get that hot dogs are cheap and easy and you can sell them and they're great for fundraisers, but use your fucking brains. Unbelievable. Unfucking believable. I didn't even stick around to look and see if there was anything else that indicated, right? It just... Eating hot dogs isn't bad. But when you're the attorney general and some kind of federal judge you're supposed to be going after Epstein's clients, and instead they stuff their mouths full of code for little boys' dicks. Unfucking believable. Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. I'm telling you, folks, the internet is going to try and erase what you want done. Remove the illegals, arrest clients of Jeffrey Epstein, get rid of crooked traitors in Washington, D.C. Why hasn't Obama been arrested? Why hasn't Hillary been arrested? Why hasn't Susan Rice been arrested? John Brennan been arrested? Hell, Mueller, the investigator of Trump, is now apparently so brain dead he's not going to be allowed to testify. Yep, we have to respect him. He's an elderly person now. They didn't respect Biden's elderly, did they? No. They just pushed him around in a wheelchair and dumped him in the floor whenever they needed him to, appear. Anyways, it's your turn. I want to hear what you're thinking about. What's on your mind, America? And we're back. It's your turn. I want to hear what's on your mind. Everybody. Oh, last second, Davey D showed up at the zoo, did a $35.70 super chat. And it registered just after the final bell and we closed the show down. Anyways, this is what he wrote. Holding some cash, but gotta say, hey, to you, keeping it true, got a life changer going on, so thank you for your support in this world. Folks, I think we're all going to have life-changing, life-altering events that occur to us, whether we like it or not, ready or not, over the next 10 years. Over the next 10 years. Number one, Davey D, thank you, sir. Love the 357. That's my favorite wheel gun caliber. Anyways, holding some cash. Folks, we need to protect our wealth, protect ourselves, protect one another. Hold cash, precious metals, precious self-defense metals, food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, right? All of it. Get prepared. Thank you so much, Davey D, for the great super chat. Whew. I tell you, folks. We're going through some life-altering stuff right now. We are going to end up in a civil war at the very least, and we may have an outright revolution. And I've got to tell you, it's not going to be fighting the redcoats. Won't be fighting the redcoats. I don't think we'll need to fight the Russians or the Chinese. We're going to be fighting amongst ourselves. And Europe is going to have the same fight. We're going to be fighting ghetto slime, Antifa, ghetto slime, BLM. We're going to be fighting international terrorism, Hamas, Hezbollah, the Palestinian contingent, the Somalis, everyone out there who is un-American, and the entire Muslim horde that is here. Not to mention we have problems with, of course, all of the south of the border gangs, from MS-13 to the Sinaloa cartel, and even the Well, President of Mexico herself, Shine Bomb, sounds Mexican to me, Shine Bomb, who is protecting and trying to hide the cartels. Oh yeah, I don't care if any politician is being threatened. I don't care if their family is being threatened. You want to get involved, get involved. But none of them have integrity, folks. Can you imagine if you were president and you knew as president you have the Army and Marine Corps, Navy and Air Force. You have the National Guard in every state. You have the state troopers. You have the county sheriffs and the police out there should all want to uphold the law. If you could get in office and you knew who the dirty 100 were, you could write their names down on a piece of paper. These are the ones that need to be arrested, and here's the crimes. You could have them arrested. If they wanted to promise to have you killed and your family, you've got the entire United States of America behind you for arresting these fucking scumbags. Every last one of them. Did Larry Fink go to Epstein's island? Or maybe Richard Branson's island? I don't know. Somebody does. Somebody has the list. I think it's Pam Bondi, who's done absolutely nothing with it except lie about it. It's on my desk. It's not on my desk. It's on my desk. It's not on my desk. It's in New York on their desk, and I can't get it. Oh, no, I've got it back with a truckload of facts. I've watched thousands of hours of videos of children being raped by billionaires, but we're not going to arrest any of them. What a heartless, soulless, dead, awful human being the Attorney General is. Every night she goes to bed knowing she is excusing and allowing pedophiles to get away with it. And you know what I've decided? They're all good with it. If you read the Talmud, raping children is fine. If you read the Quran, raping children is fine. Now does it make sense why so many politicians are Israel first? Now you understand why so many politicians are Muslims, because they can get away with it now. They have a clear conscience. They don't care that they've committed the most heinous crime against the innocence of the world, that they've lied, cheated, and stolen from everyone else because their new religion says it's fine. How is a Christian nation and a Christian world supposed to deal with people who believe it's fine to lie, cheat, steal, murder, and rape children? Like I said, I'm not going to give up on this, folks. We shouldn't have to give up the quest for law and order, truth and justice. Even if it upsets people from other countries, why should we give a fuck about other countries? Ask yourself that. Should you care what Australia thinks of America? Should you care what China thinks of America? Do you give a shit what Iran thinks of America? So why should we give a fuck what Israel thinks of America, or England, or Italy, or Tripoli, in Libya? Why should we give a shit? We shouldn't. We shouldn't. Mess. Mr. Uman, who's up next on the Prepared Mind channel? We've got Narda Costanza and Nander. Says, good afternoon, John. I agree with you. The U.S. should not be a place to dump these monsters who are only interested in destroying our culture. Oh, 100%. They want to destroy the culture. They want to wipe out our traditions. They are going to ignore our laws until they can replace our laws with Sharia law, which is Islamic, fundamentalist, whacked out of their fucking mind law, which allows them to threaten to cut your head off unless you give them all your money. And then they can still cut your head off because Allah says you should be dead if you don't worship him. Their holy book was written by Muhammad, a pedophile child rapist who married a 9-year-old girl, and they all look up to him. Right? There's a rule in Christianity. It's called the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Do you think it should be any more complicated than that? Well, it shouldn't. But do you think any Israeli or any Muslim would want you to do to them what they're willing to do to you? Oh, they know better. They don't want to have their head chopped off. They don't want to be killed, buried under a pile of fucking rubble. I've had it with these people, folks, because they're hypocrites. Jesus got mad at them, overturned the money tables, chased them out of the fucking temple with whips, said they belonged to the synagogue of Satan, and said since they rejected him, right, they are rejected, and we, the rest of the world, right, are the chosen people. Read the Bible, folks. Israel is not Israel of the Bible. It's a secular state. And they, the people that live in Israel, are not chosen people. Period. They're just people. They're not special. They're just people. Can you imagine the fucking mentality these people get up every day feeling they're superior to everyone else? Look, all I say is be a good person. Do unto others as they would you would have them do unto you, and be a good person. They can't fucking do it. They can't do it. They wake up every day dreaming of killing you or raping you or stealing from you. Ooh, man, who's up next? Let's move along. We got Diving Frog checking in and says, John, if you notice, Trump brings chaos to the system, which is good because it shows people's true character. I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Let me see if I can phrase this in such a way to let you know I understand and I agree. If you've got a tree and it's full and loaded with fruit, you want that fruit to be, right, healthy. You want it to be strong. You want it to fully ripen. But you got bad fruit in the tree. It's rotten, and rotted fruit, as soon as it touches other fruit, ruins it. Right? The old story, one bad apple spoils the whole barrel. So how do you get the fucking bad fruit out of the tree? Well, you shake the living shit out of the tree, and it's weak and it'll fall. That's how you do it. So Trump brings chaos to the system, as you point out here. After a while, though, I'm sitting in the tree, and I'm getting tired of being shaken and knocked about. And the bad fruit, Pam Bondi picks up off the ground and tapes to a branch again. They're not arresting the bad fruit. We know who they are. Hillary, Obama, Pelosi, Schumer, Hakeem, Crockett. We know who they are. Brennan, Strzok, Comey, Clapper, Susan Rice. I mean, you can go all day long. Why aren't they arrested? For sedition, treason, insurrection, lying under oath, lying to the American people, stealing from the American people, laundering money, bribery, extortion, fraud, corruption, all these things. And they're just fine with it. Trump shakes it up. You gotta fucking arrest him. It's shaken, not stirred. Right? It's shaken. Heavy duty. So all that chaos, you know what it's doing to me? It's just fucking making me dizzy and sick to my stomach. We know who the bad guys are. Zelenskyy, bad guy. Von der Leyen, bad bitch. Queer Starmer, bad. Macron, bad. This chaos is going to lead to some incredibly bad events. I don't want to be a part of it, but I don't think any of us are going to be able to escape it. It's just that bad. Mr. Uman, let's continue. Great topics. I hope everyone's awake. And Uman says, I saw that Texas demotards, they returned to Texas. Didn't see anything about the threatened arrests or removals or vacated seats. Uman says, imagine my surprise. More empty threats from Governor Abbott. I'm going to call him Hot Wheels. Fuck it. Fuck it. Hot Wheels Abbott. He deserves zero respect. Like the worst fucking parent ever, who's got kids that get out of line and all they do is talk trash. Oh, you're in trouble. You're in big trouble. You're in big trouble. You just wait. You're in trouble. Never does anything. And Ken Paxton, Attorney General, why the fuck did he not? Didn't he file paperwork for them to vacate the seats? Why wasn't that followed through with? Why wasn't that judgment handled? Empty threats, bullshit, kabuki theater, crap. It's more chaos. It's a fucking show. It's bullshit. Folks, you better protect yourselves. You better protect yourselves because none of these fucking people, from the White House all the way down to the State House, none of them truly care about us. It's all about them enriching themselves, doing what they can to protect themselves while fucking us over. 100%, no doubts. Okay, Mr. Uman, that was a good one. What else do we want to discuss? What's on the minds out there? We got Chin Music. And Chin, thank you for a great super chat yesterday in the comments. And he says, John, the Democrats are close to finished if our guys will just arrest someone. That's a huge facepalm. All you have to do is arrest one big shot Democrat, not some little turd, not some half-wit fucking lawyer that throws a submarine sandwich at a fucking Fed. And the memes on that were great. Arrest one big shot. Arrest Nancy. Arrest Hillary. Arrest Hakeem Jeffries. Arrest them and watch them just roll over and shit on all the others. Hillary even promised. She even promised, you arrest me and I'll take down half of D.C. Good. I accept your proposal. Anyways, let's continue with Chin Music. He says, one of the clients told me, this is one of his clients, told him the reason his kids love to work with me, that would be Chin Music, is because he knows I care and you can't fake that. Chin is a genuine human being, a good guy. You can't fake it, folks. People know. People know. If we arrest one person, my ass. If Pam Bondi would arrest one person, we would know she's doing some good. Trump could come out and say, arrest that motherfucker right now. You have it on your desk, Pam. Arrest him. Cash, arrest him. Dan Bongino, arrest him. Has anyone heard from Dan Bongino lately? I know over the weekend, Cash put out like one Twitter post trying to look and sound smart and cool. And Pam Blondie, dumbass, she put out a hot dog stuffed in her fucking pie hole, right? Once again, no arrests, no integrity, and we know they're fake as fuck. They can't fool us. They can't pretend to be real. They try, but it's easy to see. And I find it interesting that Chin Music, who works with children in athletics, works with teens in athletics, works with young people in athletics, college students in athletics, you'll notice that they respect you. They look up to you. And that's a good thing because the young people out here need someone to look up to. There's no one to look up to in Hollywood, if there ever was. There's no one to look up to in the music industry. I mean, really, who? Fucking Justin Bieber? Fucked up Lady Gaga or Puff Daddy the rapist? Really, who are you going to look up to in the music industry? No one. Politics? Give me a fucking break. Sports? It's done. There is, sports heroes. They should have never, ever, ever been anything more than sports role models. But there was a time that even sports people like, here's a good one, Michael Jordan, even-tempered, well-spoken, good, clean player. He wasn't a dirty player. He didn't hurt people, injure people. He just played great. Someone you could look up to, right? Be like Mike. In fact, I think there was even an ad campaign. He was a good person. We're not going to have those anymore. These kids out here need to see something good, folks, and hear from good people. And it could be and should be you. Help make a fucking difference and help give kids someone to look up to. Wow. What a deal. All right. Thank you, Mr. Chin Music, very much. I appreciate that a whole lot. Let us continue if we shall. We've got just under 10 minutes. And Uman says, if the war ends, and he means in Ukraine, little Z's term and his power evaporates. User says, exactly. And if he wants to talk about a constitution, or he's the one who suspended elections and jailed many people, including outlawing opposition party, and he arrested members of the church, the media, free people. He arrested members of the government. He confiscated people's wealth, the church's wealth. He canceled the elections, and then he's going to turn around and say, our Constitution doesn't allow us to surrender. No Constitution has words in there for surrender. And what could they do anyway? Our Constitution says we're only allowed to give up the equivalent of 5% of our GDP. And since you're asking for 10, we just can't do it. Sorry about that. Trump could end the war today, folks. I mean, the war is over. We know who's won the war. But if you want the hostilities to stop, that could be ended very quickly. The United States of America says, you, Voldemort Zelenskyy, get no more money. You get no more weapons. And you will surrender according to Putin's terms so that the deaths can stop. Remember when we were all told, just stay in your house for 2 weeks? If we just save one life, it's worth shutting the whole fucking planet down. Loss of billions and hundreds of billions of dollars in productivity around the world. If we can save just one life, how many lives has Zelenskyy caused to be lost? Over 1 million people, because he wanted to piss off Russia, kill Russian citizens and ethnic Russians living in Ukraine, and try and violate the terms of peace with the Soviet Union and Russia by bringing NATO into the country. These idiots, all of them. Trump could stop it and say, you get no more money. Good luck now. Have fun. And if you want our help rebuilding your country, you will pay for it through your country's assets. No free rides. That would stop this shit right away, wouldn't it? All right. Very good. Oh, man. We got 5 minutes and some change. And we got Dr. 762 checking in. He says, those investment oligarchs need to pay for the rebuilding of Ukraine, not the American people. Oh, now we're to this question. Who owns the businesses in Ukraine? The World Economic Forum. Who gets businesses in Ukraine? Anyone the World Economic Forum wants to let in there. Manufacturing, you bet. Raw material production, refinement, you bet. Ukraine had all of that. Not to mention biological warfare labs. I think they had 27 or 29 of them. Get some conflicting numbers. That's a lot of laboratories creating, folks, biological weapons are illegal. That's right. The Geneva Convention says biological weapons are outlawed. So why does the United States of America have inside of Ukraine at least 27 fucking biolabs creating biological weaponry? And it's being funded by investment companies. They're all part of the World Economic Forum. Larry Fink of BlackRock, he's one of them. They're scum, folks. They don't want you to make your own decisions. They don't want our countries to make the decisions they need to make representing us. I mean, really, literally representing us. Who does Jasmine Crockett truly represent? Who does Hakeem represent? Who does Nancy represent? Representative Republic, our republic in America, is crippled. It's been brought to its knees, and there's a gun to the back of the head, and they're trying to kill it. Thank you, Dr. 762. Mr. Uman, who's up next? What do we have? We've got Mike Cruz Sr., who says, John, what's with the Russian bombers buzzing the Alaska coast today while the big DC meeting is happening? Putin went back to Moscow. Russia always buzzes Alaska and the west coast of the United States of America. That has been something they've done for years and years and years. I believe they're spying. Every country does it to every country. In fact, our own government hires New Zealand, Australia, Canada, and England to spy on you, because the government's not allowed to spy on you because it's against the Constitution, Fourth and Fifth Amendments. But they can pay another country to do it and then provide them with the information they seek. That's how dirty and shitty Washington, D.C. is. They will pay someone else to do what they can't do for themselves because it's illegal. Well, it sounds like that itself should be illegal, right? It'd be like me hiring someone to murder someone. Well, I didn't murder them. I just asked them to do it for me, but I didn't do it. So the United States government is, we're not spying on Americans. We just hire other people to do it for us. But we're not spying. We're just paying someone else to do what we're not allowed to do what is criminal. No respect for the government, folks, because it does not deserve it, has not earned it. It has earned scorn. Get prepared. Mr. Uman, do we have one more that we can throw in there? And it's the Charlanator, who says there was an attempted child abduction in my town this weekend. The guy was surrounded by the local cops before he could leave town. He was driving a black convertible BMW. Well, apparently child kidnappers, child traffickers, and child rapists, a.k.a. pedophiles, yes, they paid good money. I guess that's how that works. They can afford to buy a convertible BMW. Glad they were caught, folks. They're going to continue to get caught. They're going to continue to do crazy things. They're going to continue to bring illegals here that don't speak English. They don't give a shit. It's coming. Are you prepared, folks? We need better representation in government. Folks, the sheriff, the county sheriff of Riverside, which is down in L.A., Riverside County Sheriff, who happens to also be a candidate for governor, his name's Chad Bianco, and he is vowing to expose Gavin Newsom as a, quote, liar and fraud. And to continue with another quote from Chad Bianco, he says of Gavin Gruesome Newsom, quote, you will never be president. Folks, California in every state desperately needs real law enforcement, real governors, real police, and real sheriffs. This country is really on the brink. I don't want it to get as bad as England, because if it does, there's going to be shooting in the streets. The only way to stop this madness is to stop this madness. So speak up, contact your government, and tell them to fix it. And chance favors the prepared mind. So go to thepreparedmind.club and get what you need.